Well, new at noon, Springfield Police seizing 2 loaded guns and more to arrest this past Friday night at the intersection of Main and Court Streets. Springfield detectives, along with the Holyoke Police, have been conducting a legal firearms investigation for the past several months. And Taisha Feliciano is their prime suspect. Detectives saw Feliciano in the driver's seat of a car that was idling outside an apartment complex on School Street. That car was unregistered, and Miss Feliciano is unlicensed. As Miss Feliciano was driving away, more officers arrived and then stopped the car near the intersection of Main and Court Streets. Detectives recovering a loaded ghost gun under the driver's seat where she was sitting. Another weapon was also seized from the fanny pack of a 15-year-old passenger. Both Feliciano and the team were placed under arrest. The other 2 occupants inside the car were released. Feliciano is now facing multiple gun charges.